Welcome to the 7 things you should never use to clean your home. They can wreck surfaces fast. You know, you see a mess on your expensive new marble island and you just grab a disinfectant wipe or a spray bottle and you scrub it away.
Right, problem solved.
Problem solved, exactly. But what if the very thing you're using to clean that surface is, like, actually quietly dissolving it?
Which is a terrifying thought.
It really is. Today, we're diving into some pretty fascinating insights from cleaning expert Allison Nelson, really trying to figure out why we are accidentally ruining our own living spaces. And, well, we've got a fundamental disagreement here right out of the gate about the root cause of this damage.
We definitely do.
Yeah, because I firmly believe the culprit is our behavior. It's what I call the convenience trap. We want a magic, single-step, physical tool like a wipe, and that laziness directly leads to structural damage.
See, I hear that, but the root of the problem isn't laziness. It's a complete chemical misunderstanding. I mean, we've basically lost touch with what our surfaces are actually made of.
You think it's just a lack of chemistry knowledge?
Absolutely. It is not the physical wipe that's destroying your kitchen. It's the invisible chemical reaction happening between powerful agents like, acids or ammonia and highly vulnerable materials.
Okay, well, let me build my case on behavior first, because I think our modern conditioning drives this entire problem.
Go for it.
We are totally obsessed with the all-purpose physical tool. Disinfectant wipes are like the perfect example of this. Allison Nelson notes that we treat them like these absolute miracle workers. You see a greasy smudge on a painted wall, and you just grab a wipe.
Which is a terrible idea for paint.
Exactly, because that wipe is mechanically designed for one specific job: killing germs. When you drag it across a wall, the moisture and the chemical agents, they evaporate unevenly, so you get these glaring streaks the second the light hits it.
Right.
Or worse, people use them on a fabric sofa.
Oh, wow. Yeah, don't do that.
Right? Now you're just soaking the fibers, creating this damp little pocket for mildew to grow. And, I mean, it's the exact same thing with paper towels. We love them because they're disposable, they're easy, but structurally,
they're basically just rough paper.
Yeah, they're made of these short cellulose fibers that just break down into friction. So they leave lint everywhere, they microscuff delicate finishes, you end up scrubbing twice as hard for a worse result, all because we just demand convenience.
Okay, paper towel lint is annoying, sure, I'll give you that. But scuffing a finish isn't what permanently destroys a home. The truly rapid, irreversible damage that comes from treating complex chemicals like magic erasers.
Okay, give me an example.
Take bleach.
Oh, the classic.
Right, the ultimate classic. The assumption is if it makes things white, it must be cleaning them. But chemically speaking, bleach is an oxidizer. That means it works by literally breaking the chemical bonds of bacteria and mold to kill them. It is not a surfactant.
Wait, hold on. Break that down for the listener. What makes a surfactant different?
Good question. So surfactants are what make water slippery enough to actually lift dirt and grease off a surface, so you can wipe it away.
Okay.
Bleach doesn't lift anything, so when you just spray it everywhere, assuming it's an all-purpose cleaner, you leave all the grime behind while simultaneously eating away at the protective sealants on your fixtures.
So you're saying people are like using a sledgehammer when they really just need a broom?
Worse, they're using a sledgehammer that slowly dissolves their floor.
Yikes.
Yeah. And ammonia is another prime offender here. People think of it as the ultimate heavy-duty cleaner, right? But ammonia is a high pH base. When you spray it on sealed organic wood, or say, natural granite,
People do love spraying glass cleaner on granite.
which is a nightmare, because you're initiating a chemical disaster. Ammonia strips lipids, and chemically, the protective wax and sealants on your floor or your expensive counter, they are just fats and waxes. They are lipids.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. The ammonia cannot tell the difference between the baking grease you're trying to clean and the protective seal of the wood. It just strips it all away.
I mean, I hear the chemistry side, I really do. But let's look at why people reach for that ammonia in the first place. It is totally behavioral.
You think so?
Absolutely! It's sensory. Take that glass cleaner you just mentioned. People spray it on kitchen counters all the time simply because it smells fresh. We have this Pavlovian response where that crisp artificial blue scent equals clean.
Which is incredibly misleading. I mean, glass cleaner has absolutely zero disinfecting properties. None.
Exactly. Using glass cleaner on a kitchen counter is honestly like putting on cologne instead of taking a shower.
That is a great analogy.
Right? It completely satisfies your sensory desire to feel clean, but it totally fails the mechanical task of sanitation. You are quite literally just sliding dirt and bacteria around your counter, but hiding it behind a pleasant scent. The behavioral illusion just completely overrides reality.
I love the cologne instead of a shower analogy for explaining the lack of sanitation. But again, the danger goes much deeper than just leaving a dirty counter.
Because of the ammonia.
Yes, that glass cleaner usually contains ammonia. It is a highly specialized formula designed exclusively for non-porous surfaces, like mirrors or windows.
Because they don't have sealants to strip?
Exactly. So when you take that specialist chemical and you just spray it onto a porous kitchen island, you aren't just shuffling dirt. You are actively degrading the material. You're treating a specialist chemical as a generalist tool.
Okay. But wait, if the artificial blue scent of glass cleaner is tricking us, what about the natural stuff?
Oh boy.
No, seriously. There's a massive trend right now of people switching to lemons, white vinegar, and, essential oils because they think they're avoiding those harsh chemicals entirely. Surely that's a behavioral shift in the right direction.
It's actually a pivot into an entirely different category of destruction.
Really? Lemons?
Yes, because people falsely equate the term non-toxic with universally safe.
Oh, interesting.
They are not the same thing at all. Lemon juice and white vinegar are highly acidic. If you spritz an acidic DIY citrus cleaner onto natural marble or stone,
Let me guess. Chemical reaction?
a bad one. Those stones are alkaline materials. They're mostly calcium carbonate. The acid immediately reacts with the calcium. It literally dissolves the top microscopic layer of the stone.
Wait, it dissolves the stone?
Yes, it's a process called etching. You end up with this dull, patchy surface that cannot be simply wiped away. You've structurally altered the counter.
So people think they're doing the environmentally responsible thing, but they're basically melting their expensive counters.
In slow motion, yes.
Wow.
And essential oils have a very similar blind spot. People love lavender or tea tree oil because they're trendy, they're natural, they smell amazing.
Sure.
But they expect them to do heavy lifting. Remember how we just talked about surfactants lifting grease?
Right, making the water slippery.
Essential oils do not have those. Undiluted, they cannot cut through complex, baked-on grease polymers on a stove. They just sit there.
Well, okay, I have to push back here because this is starting to sound, frankly, exhausting.
It's just chemistry.
Are you saying everyday people need a degree in material chemistry just to wipe down their own kitchens?
No, I'm just saying...
Because realistically, when someone is tired after work, they are just going to grab whatever spray bottle is closest. I still argue the solution is simple behavioral targeting. You don't need to memorize the molecular structure of marble.
Well, you should know what your counter is made of.
Sure, but you just need a mental rule. Like save the lemon for the microwave, where it naturally neutralizes odors, and always dilute those essential oils. It is just about building a better habit.
Habits are good, but...
And frankly, if the chemistry is really that intimidating, which listening to you it kind of is, we shouldn't be guessing at all. For those deeper, more complex jobs where you absolutely cannot risk damaging your investments, we really need to rely on the real experts. Like I highly advise our listeners to visit Kindeke Carpet Cleaning on Google to ensure your home surfaces are treated with the utmost care and expertise. You don't have to be a chemist if you hire the right professionals.
Look, relying on professionals is definitely a smart move for the big jobs. But for the daily tasks, if we just rely on mental rules without actually understanding why we're doing it, we run into the opposite end of the spectrum.
Which is what?
False security with heavy-duty traditional chemicals.
We're back to ammonia?
We are, because ammonia is a phenomenal degreaser for specific tasks, like cutting through polymerized, baked-on fats inside an oven. But keeping it in the daily rotation is playing with fire.
Because of the fumes?
Fumes, yes, but also interactions. If someone's behavioral habit is to use ammonia on the stove and then a bleach wipe on the counter right next to it, the moment those two invisible residues interact, they produce toxic chloramine gas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's incredibly dangerous. Bleach must be treated as a handle with care chemical for specific targets, like mold spores. It is not a daily utility.
Which, honestly, perfectly circles back to why we need to change our physical tools.
How so?
Think about it. If we can't rely on a bleach wipe for everything, and we can't use ammonia everywhere, what do? Nelson actually recommends swapping out those destructive paper towels for microfiber cloths.
Okay, microfiber is an interesting workaround, I'll admit, from a material science standpoint.
It is brilliant because it bypasses the chemical problem entirely. Instead of relying on a harsh solvent to dissolve the grime, a microfiber towel relies on mechanical capillary action.
Break that down for the listeners because it's actually a crucial distinction.
Sure. So, unlike a flat paper towel that, as you said, basically just pushes dirt around, microfiber is woven with millions of tiny split synthetic fibers.
Right.
These split fibers create microscopic spaces that literally pull dust, dirt, and even moisture up into the cloth and trap it there. That is the capillary action.
It's physical removal rather than chemical breakdown.
Exactly. It physically lifts the grime without needing a chemical to break it down first. I mean, it leaves glass surfaces gleaming on the first swipe, completely removing the need for ammonia-based cleaners entirely.
That is true.
It is a tiny behavioral swap that protects your surfaces, saves you money, and reduces chemical use.
I'll concede that. By upgrading the physical tool, you do decrease the reliance on inappropriate chemical force.
Right. So, looking at the big picture here, we are tackling two vital sides of home care. I still maintain that abandoning the one-size-fits-all convenience mindset, breaking our reliance on disposable wipes and paper towels, is the most immediate behavioral fix to stop mechanical wear and tear.
And I completely stand by the fact that you have to respect the chemical reality of your home. You just have to. Keep acids away from alkaline stone. Limit high pH solvents like ammonia so you don't strip your wood. And please remember that bleach is an oxidizer for targeted germ killing, not a magical dirt eraser.
Yeah, I think we both clearly arrive at Allison Nelson's core takeaway, though. We have to treat our cleaning supplies as specialist tools for specialist jobs. No more universal magic wands.
Exactly. The next time you reach under the sink, remember you aren't just cleaning, you are interacting with the very fabric of your home. If you don't respect the chemistry, that basic spray bottle can easily become the most destructive thing in the room.
There is so much more to explore when it comes to the chemistry and habits of maintaining our living spaces. But if you want to guarantee your surfaces are deeply cleaned without any of the risks we've explored today, be sure to visit Kindeke Carpet Cleaning on Google. Thank you for listening to the 7 Things You Should Never Use to Clean Your Home They Can Wreck Surfaces Fast podcast.